Hello, it is going to be the full moon partial lunar eclipse in Gemini coming up on Monday, November 30th. And so I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about what to focus on, what the opportunities are of this very potent full moon. And it's potent because, well, full moons are always potent, of course, but when there's an eclipse involved, just kind of think of it as like the full moon on steroids, okay? So the energy is even bigger. We're not going to really see any amazing thing in the sky. If anything, it's just going to make the moon look a little bit dimmer than usual. It's a partial lunar eclipse, but the energy is strong. And it is in Gemini. So, what's the focus? What should we focus on this time? What's the mojo of this moon? The energy of this moon says to look at the magic in the smaller moments in our life versus the big overall picture, and make changes whenever we need to in order to make our life better. So it's about focusing on the little transitions. Do you pull your phone out first thing in the morning and just start scrolling away and looking at social media? Or do you lay there for a few minutes and think about a few things that you're grateful for? Or do the Ho'oponopono magic mantra when you first wake up and before you even get out of bed. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. What I usually do is I do the gratitude, what I'm grateful for. Whatever comes to mind, just kind of free association. I'm grateful for my cozy bed. I'm grateful for that chair over there that I love in the corner of my room. I'm grateful for this land. I'm grateful for the birds. They're always waking me up early around here. And then, go into the magic mantra. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Just over and over again. Or sometimes I actually focus on all the things that are bothering me so that I can intentionally clear them from my subconscious, from creating something that I don't want versus all that I do. So I may just kind of go down the list of whatever's on my mind and do the magic mantra on those things 3, 4, 7 times until I feel more at peace. So that's a choice, right? And that's just a small moment in your day. The moment that you wake up, and what do you normally do? And how does that feel? And does that really nourish you? Is that really doing something powerful for your life? Or does there need to be a change? Now, I know a lot of people start their day scrolling on Instagram or on Facebook or reading the news. Okay. I really don't recommend that you put that in your brain first thing in the morning, and that you very, very, very carefully choose when you do, and that you limit it, because it's so easy to just keep going and going and going. Especially right now, if you're more in a safer at-home vibe and are not doing all of the things maybe that you normally would be doing in a day, right? We've had kind of an unusual year. Well, not kind of, majorly, we've had an unusual year. So that's a choice point, right? That's just a transition in your day. What are some other transitions in your day that might be helpful to look at? Could you spend an entire day off your computer, off electronics, off of, your phone, unless it's ringing and it's somebody who needs you, like one of your kids, or your partner, or, something like that. Um, could you do that? What would that be like? Maybe to change your routine somewhat, in that, like, once a week, whatever day you decide, you really stay off social media and emails and everything, and do other things instead. Go outside, read a book, watch a really good movie with your family. Yeah. So that is something that you could change. And, so far I'm talking about technology. I don't really know why I'm doing that, except I think it's because I'm tuning in to the energy of Gemini, which rules communication, technology, social media, our computers, our email, all of that. So, and I do think that it's easy to get addicted, right? And especially right now, because it's really been an important form of connecting and communicating. And I agree with that. I'm so grateful for social media and my email and my texts and everything else during this time period, even more so than normal. But also, it's kind of like right now, we're just supposed to be looking at, oh, is that a decision that needs to stick right now? Is that a routine in our lives that really, really, really we need to do every day? Do we need to spend 30, 45 minutes on news first thing in the morning and put all that into our head before we put in what nourishes us? Like talking about what we're grateful for, the Ho'oponopono magic mantra, meditating, yoga, being out in nature, going for a walk, going for a hike. Really, how we start our day is so important. So that's why I'm focusing there, because that is often a routine that we really may need to look at and make some shifts. And that's what this moon is about. Kind of the smaller moments, seemingly, versus, okay, I'm going to change my life in this big way, and I'm going to start a business in 2021, and I'm going to leave my job, and I'm going to move across the world. um, Save that for the new moon in Sagittarius coming up in a couple of weeks. This moon is more about looking at the smaller transitions in our life, but how to transform ourselves through those smaller routines. How do we let go of any of those routines in our life that may keep us stuck, that may keep our mindset negative and closed down versus open to all possibilities? How do we nourish ourselves more in a day? How do we, change up just those regular things that we do? So it's like when you're making a transition to something else that you're about to do, just kind of take a moment at this full moon and think to yourself, is this nourishing? Is this helpful? Um, is this just old and stuck? Do I need to change this? Because Uranus, the planet that loves change, big or small or anywhere in between, is also involved at this full moon. And so it is about making changes, but it doesn't have to be something huge. Again, this moon is more about just making changes in our normal life. Like my husband and I are going to move some furniture around because it's feeling stuck. We're going to do that today. we're it's kind of a feng shui day around here, shall we say. We're just going to walk around and see, what slight changes we need to make in our environment to shapeshift things a little bit. And this was an intuition that we just had a couple days ago. And come to find out in my research on the moon, it really fits. It's like absolutely perfect with this moon. So, no, we're not about to paint the entire house or put in a new bathroom. Those would be big transformations. We're just going to walk around and move some furniture and maybe move some plants around and, the smaller, refining kind of changes. Um, you know, Again, social media, but like you're pulling for your phone to scroll. Is that really the most nourishing thing you can do in that moment? Or should you pull for your journal and do some writing? And it doesn't even have to be like Zen, changes. Um, It could be instead you go and make a list, a shopping list, and figure out what you're going to make for dinner. Or that you go and clean out your closet because you've really been wanting to do that for a while, and go do a Goodwill run. See what I'm saying? I'm not saying never look at social media, but I think that when we look at our smaller transitions and the smaller moments in our life, seemingly smaller, we can create more magic when we don't get in these ruts. We can also get a lot more done, right? And feel more purposeful and have more energy. The Gemini moon has a lot of energy, so you should be feeling the energy to make these kinds of changes. It's been a year for some of feeling really stuck, and doing these kinds of changes, these small little changes, seemingly small, that are actually pretty big if you look at it. It really does affect our lives in big ways to clear out those routines that aren't working for ourselves and replace them with something new and more vibrant. But, we've been kind of feeling stuck, and we've been stuck in this routine of how do we survive another day during this crazy time. But it's, let's get out of that now. Okay, we may not be able to go and, to a huge Christmas party like we used to on a normal basis. But how can we make some changes in our life that just make us feel more vibrant, more intuitive, more centered, more clear? It could be a change in a relationship that needs to happen. Not some huge change, maybe the way that you communicate in a relationship. Maybe just kind of be more aware of that. What's my tone in this relationship? Do I sound sassy most of the time? Or, am I coming from my heart? Am I coming from fear? What's going on here? Those kinds of changes, not, hey, see ya, I'm out of here. Yeah, so that's the vibe of this full moon in Gemini. I picked a card for it, for the moon itself, and it's the Justice card. And this really fits because justice is all about bringing your life into balance. And isn't that really what I'm talking about here? Is to put some thoughts to all of your transitions, all of your daily routines, and kind of make a decision whether that is keeping me in balance, keeping me clear, intuitive, vibrant, or is it pushing me down, down, down into that stuckness? This card just really wants us to get into balance, to look at what's off in our lives. See the scales? Those scales are balanced. So is something dragging one side of the scale down in your life? If so, how do you bring that back into balance? You know, maybe you work too much. Maybe you are a workaholic. Maybe that's just your vibe. Maybe you just, that's your go-to, is to sit down at the computer or whatever and just work, 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 work. Okay, so that's out of balance. What could you do instead? Go for a walk. Don't just wake up and sit down and start working. Get up and go for a walk with your dog, or just by yourself, or with your favorite person. Sit outside and meditate, or if it's too cold where you live, find a spot in your house. How do you change up your routines? Because when we change our routines, new opportunities show up. It's in our littlest tweaks, the littlest things that we do that make something new come to us. New opportunities, new ideas. This card loves to receive inspiration and new ideas, and the way to achieve that is balance, so that you're not feeling stressed and stuck and tired. So this actually really fits with this moon. And yeah, so really stop yourself in your transitions and look at them. Take a really good look and make some changes so that new opportunities, new ideas, something fresh comes into your life, comes into your world, comes into your mind. There's fun in that. There's magic in that. The little changes can have a really big impact on our lives. Okay, well, that is it for today. Have a wonderful full moon lunar eclipse in Gemini, and I'll see you soon.